Now let's deal with commands injection. Through commands injection, we're going to be sending a request through built-in vulnerabilities into the browser and into the code. But as you'll see in example 3, there's ways around it. If you put in safer code that doesn't allow you to execute it directly from the browser, there are ways around it. So let's go ahead and get to example 1. Because example 1, we have ping utility, and if you look closely, this looks very close to a ping utility that you would use on a Linux server, on a Linux machine. Um, so you could guess that this is using Linux. Now, what you could do here is let's go and test it and run simple ls command. And as you can see, it outputs whatever's on that server. Now you can go a little further and run a uname, or you could run a cat, or you could run different commands. You could create a file. Let's create something. So, test. Let's do test.txt. And now let's do an ls to see that our test.txt was written. So as you can see, our test.txt has been written. So you could write in your own file. If you cat that test.txt file, that's going to be dangerous too. Maybe you can nano that test.txt file. So let's move on to example 2. And with example 2, the only difference between example 1 and example 2 is that we were able to use, with example 1, we were able to just use same command line to jump into the shell. With example 2, developers made it a bit harder to where you can't run the command directly on that line. So we have to use a different command here. We have to use a %OA. So let's do %OA 90A, and let's do ls, because %0A is going to be, it's going to allow us to move to a different line. So that's what that's going to allow us to do. And we were able to have it there. And as you can see, we're still persistent with our test.txt. So if that was reverse shell I was writing, and I had a netcat, or reverse shell script, and I had netcat, then I could execute that on the server and just start reading in all the traffic that the server sends. Now for this last example here, example 3, we're not really going to be able to do anything on this browser because the developers have made it so that you can't really see what's going on. But what we're going to have to do with this browser is, through the magic of Kali Linux and Burp Suite, is that we're going to have to intercept this traffic. So that's essentially what's going on here, where you intercept the traffic. So you modify the request and you send the modified request, and the server trusts that the modified request is what was sent. Now, that's not a good thing, because, if the browser thinks everything's okay, then the proxy captures it. You send the bad information, and the server's going to respond, okay, so here's your answer. So you can see how that could be very dangerous. So let's go ahead and jump in to example 3. So example 3, let me go and turn on my intercepting. Sorry. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Let's refresh this page, and there we go. And we'll send this over to repeater, which repeater is that proxy, which is going to repeat whatever we want it to repeat. And we're going to use a pipe here, and we could do uname plus minus a, and then we could send it, and let's take a look at the response. this is the response that we get that the browser doesn't get, because we're essentially in the middle between the browser and the server. So as you can see here, it gives us Linux Debian 2.6.32-5-686, which is awesome. It gives us a lot of information. You're able to run the commands. I could run ls from here. I could do a number of commands from here. So let's go ahead and send that. As you can see here, it tells us everything that's there, and test.txt is still there, which is awesome. It doesn't erase it. So you can see how this could be a very malicious, or this could be very dangerous for a malicious user to have a hold of, especially since they could do this from the house. They don't really have to do this from a certain location.